海賊が悪、海軍が正義、そんなものはいくらでも塗り替えられてきた。平和を知らねえガキどもと戦争を知らねえガキどもとの価値観は違う。頂点に立つ者が善悪を塗り替える。今この場所こそ中立だ。正義は勝つって、そりゃそうだろう。勝者だけが正義だ。
Well, I do not consider Doffy to be one of the best decks in the current metagame. This is definitely a deck worth considering. It is a great pick into the current meta because if you look at the decks that are considered like the best decks, where we have like Zoro, Newgate, Katakuri, Kid is thrown in there, and Law. We look at those 5 decks and we think, okay, well, what does the blue matchup look like into those? Well, for Zoro, between 3000 Worlds and Mihawk, we can just bottom deck basically everything they play. And if we're bottom decking everything they play and establishing that tempo, we're able to really out-tempo them. In addition, we have the Jinbei, which is able to threaten his rested characters, and then if they deal with it, we threaten a active character. So we just get to double dip and remove 2 cards with 1, which is fantastic. And then we look into things like, well, Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria is a 6k body. He's really hard for them out. He's able to just attach 1 Dawn to him, turn him sideways, take 2 cards from their hand. All of these are very efficient options we have for dealing with Red Zoro. Now, Zoros can kind of play around, skirt around, try to combat it with things with like playing Gordon and Jet Pistol. Those are good options because you can Gordon Jet Pistol the Mihawks. You can Gordon Marco for huge tempo against these 6k bodies while establishing a 6k body that's basically unkillable of their own. So there is ways for them to counterplay it, but they have to prepare for it. And when it is a much lower represented deck, you can sometimes catch a lot of these red decks by surprise. We look at the next one, Whitebeard. Whitebeard, he has, on his high end, has Ace. Ace is a 7 cost. If you see an Ace come down, they turn the Ace sideways. They usually go for a board clear. We then drop the Mihawk. Mihawk bottom decks the Ace. Well, they just burnt their whole turn playing out that Ace, and now we have a 9k body. And since they're ticking down and they only are able to play the 1 9-cost Newgate, they will eventually go to 0. Plus, we play a total of 12 blockers in this deck, which allows us to kind of survive. And in that late game, since they're having to try to deal with our board constantly, because we're putting on these 6k threats that can threaten the Whitebeard, and then we start establishing these 9k bodies, it puts them in a very high pressure situation where they are just being poked, and we can out-resource them. Especially since Doflamingo allows us to basically play from the top of our deck instead of having to play from our hand. So we have a high hand size, we're able to counter out early, and then we're able to bottom their things in the late game, preventing them from being able to really establish solid tempo. So for the Whitebeard matchup, we have a favorable matchup. We look at Katakuri. Katakuri hates anything that has a lot of blockers. What do we have? We have 12 blockers. And not only that, none of our blockers are even like the 1-drop blockers. So even the Streusen tech that they kind of use against Law to try to gain some type of momentum and some type of clawback, some advantage in that matchup, they don't have that ability because we have pretty high value blockers here. So in the case of Yellow also, we have the ability to bottom deck their 7-cost Big Bomb. We have the ability to just steamroll them in the early to late game. We can bottom deck their Parasparrow, which prevents them from being searched out of their plays. All of their play this from trigger cards are 4 cost or 3 cost, so 3000 Worlds will bottom deck all of those. Jinbei can bottom deck the Parasparrow. I think I already said that, but in any case, Katakuri has a bad matchup into Doflamingo. And then Kid has 2 variants. The Film Kid, typically, I know I'm a weirdo, I play 8-cost Kid in my Film Kid, but most Film Kid players are not playing the 8-cost Film Kid. 8-cost Kid. So without 8-cost Kid, we can bottom deck everything with Mihawk. They play Luffy, we play Mihawk. They play, if they don't have a Luffy, we 3000 Worlds bottom deck like their Hawkins, for example. And Jinbei can bottom deck their Nami. All of these allow us to keep high momentum into the Film Kid matchup. And then since we do have a lot of blockers, and since we do establish a board, and since we are swinging for 7 every turn, we can just kind of win that resource battle over time. We also have good things to replenish our hand. So it's not just about being able to constantly outvalue them with our swings and our board and our tempo. We also are getting good tempo in the hand with cards like Gecko Moria, being able to recycle our 2k counters like Dracula Mihawk. We have cards like Boa Hancock. If we swing with Boa Hancock, we get a draw. If we draw, and then they basically still have to use her. She still gets the use as a blocker, because if they don't deal with her, we just keep getting a draw every turn. We have cards like Love Beam. Love Beam gives us a free draw if we have 3 or less cards in hand. So in that late game, where we're getting that 4k counter and then we're drawing a card, makes it really hard to out our board or start getting at our life. So all of these factors make it to where the Kid matchup is really good. So we just, and then Law's high end is 5 cost. So we basically bottom deck everything with 3000 Worlds, and Mihawk and Jinbei hits a lot of their deck as well. So overall, we are just really, really good into the top 5 decks in the meta. Now, decks that counter this would be like your green decks that play that 8 cost Law. The 8 cost, what's it called? Kid. 8 cost Kid is a really good check to this deck. So if you're playing a green deck, you might want to consider teching in one of those. If Doflamingo's usage just flies up. Another thing, if you're playing red, you might tech in some Jet Pistols and extra copies of Gordon so that you can deal with their board much easier and kind of re-establish that tempo that they're going to be trying to take from you. But overall, I think it's still, the representation of Doffy is too low for that to be as big of a threat right now. So we'll see how the meta progresses, but at this moment, I think this is a solid deck to be playing into the meta, and the regional win at GenCon just shows just how solid Blue Doflamingo is in the OP-03.5 meta. So let's catch some games and kind of get in the mindset of a Doflamingo player and go from there. Game 1 we have against Whitebeard. This is a favorable matchup for us. Unfortunately, we do not see any Perona, so we will mulligan. And there we go. We have the full combo. We've got Perona, we have a Doflamingo set up for late game. We have our one of Gum Gum Rain, which is great for that first Mihawk play. We'll just drop the Perona. Let's think here. So we're going to be doing a draw, play, draw, play, draw. So I think for turn 1, we want to... So for our last draw, we'll get a Doflamingo, because that'll tell us it's time to sort our deck again. So draw, we'll play on this turn the Kuma, and we'll draw the Pacifista right before that. So we'll go play, draw. Next turn, we'll draw into the 3000 Worlds, and then play the Gecko Moria. Boom. So there we go. And end turn. So we already have our next several turns planned out here. So we'll draw the 3000 Worlds, swing for 7, get out of Gecko Moria. The next turn, we'll draw into the Pacifista, swing for 7, get out of Kuma with a Pacifista live in hand. So if they try to go for the board, then they will be giving us more advantage. He does get the Atmos and the Ace off of double searches, which is pretty good hand. We do have the 3000 Worlds, though, to deal with the Atmos. We just get out of Gecko Moria for free. He takes a hit, so he's going to be low life into the late game, it looks like. And we'll see if he tries to go for the Gecko here. I think that is the right play. We do have the Gum Gum Rain. I think we just protect early on. We're going to draw into one of these by the time we're wanting to play one. So I think that's just the right play. He misses with the buggy. I don't know. I think the Nami engine is much better to have in Whitebeard than the buggy engine. We have 5, so we'll probably just go swing. I think we just go 8, right? Swing 8. Make him either take or use multiple cards. He goes for the guard point. That's good to get out of the hand. And now we just swing for 7. Get out that Kuma. We have the Pacifista in hand since we drew it. We only have 2k counter in hand, but I think it's fine. We're at 5 life. Next turn, we'll draw into the Doflamingo. So we'll be able to establish a blocker and then restack our deck. And hopefully we'll find a Mihawk within the next 5 cards. He gets himself a Blenheim. That is the 2-3k blocker without counter, I believe. Don't really see that very often, but it is interesting to see here. Can't save it, so we'll let it go. He's not able to establish any board, though, so we still have the tempo here. And next turn, we'll have double blockers, so that's kind of nice. We'll play this down and then decide what we want to do, because we have no idea. Yeah, we're blind. Oof, okay, so this is not ideal. Yeah, we're not seeing the start placing on top. I was tempted to put this on the bottom because we're not seeing the Mihawks. We really want to see Mihawks, but we do have 5 life. He is burning down. We could really try to force him to get us this Pacifista out. We would do that by playing out a Kuma and then drawing into a Kea and then playing out a Boa and then drawing into the Perona and then try to go again. I'm not sure if that's too slow play, but I think that's probably what we're going to do, right? So we'll go Kea. So play. Oh, I might have messed up the order already. Okay, so that's a play slot, but we can't play that. So that's a draw. Play, draw, play. Okay, I think that's fine. We'll just go here, use, bring this out, see what he wants to do. He takes. I think we just pass. Might have wanted to swing for 8 there, but it would have been the same results, so I guess it doesn't matter. Next turn, I think we draw into a 2k, which is good. We have 2 blockers up, which is really good. He's probably going to drop an ace here. Oh, no, he goes for a buggy. Gets a Whitebeard Pirates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards in hand. He will be going down to 0 Dawn here. Gets a Jozu. Grabs Fossa off the Whitebeard Pirates. It's got 5 Dawn left. Full board. We have 5 life. And we do have 3,000 worlds, so we could use that to our advantage. I think we just want to get out the Kuma, or the Pacifista. This gives us a little bit of extra offensive pressure for the following turn. He gets rid of Perona. That's fine by me. And then he establishes a Fossa. So he has 0. He has 0 counter events that he can play. The next card here is a Boa, right? So we could go for bottom one of these. I think we want to save this, though, because we have no offensive pressure from him whatsoever. We have 5 life still. We can go 3 here, get out the Boa. Boop. He's going to have to either use a blocker or go 2 here. Yeah, perfect. And then we can just go we'll normal the Gecko Moria, and then swing for 6 with the Pacifista, making him use either one more counter or a blocker. And the next turn we draw into the Perona. He'll take out one of these. We then sort with the Perona, and then we'll make our decision on what the optimal route is from there. He 1Ks out with Marco, and we pass. So we have a 2K, we have a 3000 Worlds, we have a 6K body on the board, 2 blockers. So he might play the Fire Fist since he is playing the Buggy. He swings with Blenheim into our lovely Boa here. I think we 1K out. Because keeping this is great, especially if we can get a swing off of it. Even if we are going... Yeah, the more Dawn he wastes going into this, the better. Yeah, I think I'm still 2King. Because then we'll have... If we can get him a swing with all of his units, I think it's worth it. I think he's just going for it, yeah. Cool. We'll have 5 life, no hand. We don't need a hand if we have 5 life. No target. Because we could potentially just 3000 Worlds and then like he plays 4. Does he have the Marco? Oh, perfect. We bought him the Marco. we bought him the Marco, play the Perona, get whatever the Perona wants. Let's do this so we can plan our returns. So we want to top deck this. Before we top deck that, we're going to want to probably play out the Gecko Moria. I think we have a Mihawk. So we'll play, draw, draw, or play, draw, play, draw. Yeah, let's do that. So draw. Oh, we can't do the second play. I'm dumb. So it's play this turn, draw next turn, draw the turn after that, play the turn after that. Yeah. This, then this. Cool. And we'll just use this as a blocker for now. We will go here to there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, perfect. And then this can add Doflamingo to our hand. So he knows our hand, but that's fine. I'm hoping he blocks with Fossa, honestly, because then we just turn this sideways to go there, and then there. Yeah, and then... like so. And now we have 3 threats. He doesn't know this. We know this, though. If he goes for the ace play to try to clear my board, we just drop the Mihawk. Perfect. Bottom deck his ace and get rid of a lot of his momentum there. And we can protect one of these. So he's going to go for a swing into one of these bodies. Boom. Oh, we can't. Forgot he already had a body established. Oh well, it's fine. Goes for Blenheim. That's nice. We just turn this sideways here. See what he wants to do. Lets it go. Play this. Bottom deck. Boom. Poke for 6. And that will get another card out of hand. He's down to 4. We have 5 life. Yeah, we are super safe here. We have 5 life. He's down to 5 cards in hand. We have a 9-cost Mihawk with 9,000 power established on the board. We have a Doflamingo in our hand, which we can use to restack our deck. So if he goes for board, we're probably good. If he goes for life, we're still probably good. We have a Kaya in hand too. So if we see a card that we really want to see, when we play the Doflamingo here, like, ooh, this is nice. Start placing on top. So we'll do play, draw, play, draw, play. Play, draw. Play, draw, play. And then we'll do 1, 2, 3. Like so. Make him use some cards. Boop. Have to use the blocker there. I just don't see him getting the momentum he needs to be able to pull it off. Because even if he had has a guard point hand, that's good for him. Because for him to be able to swing even at a bare minimum here, he needs to get 3 on it, and then I just 1k out. I'll let that die. So we have a blocker up still. Next turn we bottom deck this, swing for life. Actually no, next turn we just win. Unless he gets rid of the Mihawk somehow. But even if it goes all on, yeah, we just block. Boop. And now we just go 19. There's nothing you can do. GG. Well played. So there you see it. We did not even take a single hit that entire game. We're still sitting at full life, and we completely kept his board in check. So good game. It's a rough matchup for a Whitebeard these days. All right, so here we have a Katakuri. We really want to prioritize keeping our blockers for the late game. We get some Pironas here. This is looking pretty decent. We'll play down the Pirona. We see the Mihawk. So let's plan out our turns here. So we're going to want to... Oh, gosh. We want to really draw basically all of these and play almost none of these. Yeah. So let's go... I guess... Draw for the end. Draw. And then I guess... Play... Draw, play, draw. I think that's probably the only way we can really do this. Not looking the best, honestly. But, I mean, we'll get out the Doffy and be able to resort, and then that's going to still act kind of like an early game blocker because he's going to have to go for it. If he doesn't, then he'll just lose, so that's fine. We'll have the Mihawk in hand for that late game. So I think it's fine. Not this Mihawk, the other Mihawk will be in hand for the late game. And then hopefully the Doflamingo will be able to establish a better board for us. And then we could even use a Gecko Moria to recycle it at some point if we have to hard play this to get that back to hand. It wouldn't be the end of the world. He just goes straight for the Mihawk here, which is fine. Honestly, if he's not establishing anything every turn, I'm not establishing anything every turn. It works out. He goes for the Pudding. Pudding is going to grab something. He's looking to grab something. He gets the Charlotte Katakuri. Okay, so he has the 8-drop Katakuri. That's something to keep in mind. That's something we cannot hit with this Mihawk. But Katakuri can't hit us either. So this Katakuri, or this Mihawk will stick to the board and be able to apply a lot of pressure. And we will be able to play it on curve. So these are all positives. This is not a huge threat, except for the fact that he's able to hit our Doflamingo that we're getting out here with. Perfect. Okay, so this one gets us into, we're getting a new sequence of draw, play, draw. We'll do draw. Yeah, draw, play, draw, play, draw. So play the Gecko Moria. Draw the Perona. Play the Gecko Moria, draw. And somewhere in there, it's going to get messed up. I just realized, because we're going to be hitting our 9-Don turn, and on our 9-Don turn, we're going to be bottom decking whatever the best value card is to bottom deck. But I think it's fine. If we need to rearrange it, we have plenty of Peronos coming up to rearrange with. If this survives a turn, it'll be great. If it doesn't, it's fine. It's just all fine. Next turn, we'll probably be able to get off our effect, and then like maybe hard play the Gecko Moria to recycle either something, or we could hard play the Jinbei to bottom deck some of these cards, or we could hard play the blocker Boa Hancock. All those I think are valid options for the following turns. He's on 6-Don here, so next turn he could be establishing his 7-cost Big Mom. If he does establish a 7-cost Big Mom next turn, then we just bottom deck it the turn after with the Mihawk. If he does not, I don't think we give it to him for that free, right? We did not see any Kuma, but that does not mean we don't have him coming. Let's just take it. And then we get a 2K. Perfect, perfect. He still has 6-Don here. We'll see what he goes for. Not too worried about the Flampe. He goes for the Parasparrow and the Brule. Cool. So we drew that. What a shocker. This will give us 4-Don left over. We'll probably just establish a Jinbei. Swing at life. Get a Gecko Moria. I think we just establish a Jinbei, because we still have 4 life. Give me one more card, please. Thank you. I think that's just the right play. Next turn we get out this Gecko Moria, which will allow us to do other shenanigans. He could play down the 8-cost. He could play down the 8-cost Katakuri, which would be annoying, but that's... I don't really think he has a great target for that over here. He could just target his own Brule, though, put it on the bottom. That's kind of good. It's actually really good to do that. He goes for 6 into Gecko Moria. I am going to block with Pacifista. We don't see a Kuma anywhere in sight. I might regret this later, but I think that's the least valuable card right now. He then goes 7 into it. We'll just go Kaya. Kaya gets us out of that. And he still has 6-Don, so he's not dropping anything too threatening this turn. Goes for 6 into it. We'll give him a 1K. He goes for another 6. We'll give him another 1K. Get ourselves a Perona. We know that this is a Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria could recycle our Mihawk if we want it. I think we start just by swinging this into here. He uses Brûlée, that's fine. We just go for the next one. He lets it die, and we'll go Perona into the Pudding. We'll go Jinbei into the Parasparrow. He does protect it, which is interesting to me, because he could theoretically just lose it. We'll go for the Gecko Moria. We will, in fact, recycle a Mihawk with it. And then we will play down Trash the Track Cracker for... Whoa. That is a very aggressive sovereignty there. Interesting. I think what we do... Because we have 6 Dawn left, right? So we could go Perona, restack. There's that Kuma. Restack this. So we could go maybe... It's going to be draw, draw, play, drop, play is the sequence here. So start placing on top. We're going to have draw, 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 play, draw, play. Right, so it's going to end on a play. It's going to start with double draw. Then we'll have a draw in the middle. So we'll put our last play as the Kuma. Then we will have our last draw as this. And then we'll give ourselves a 2k back with this. And then just add these to the hand. Might want to... oh well, it already made the play. Then, so we know this double draws. I think we still play this down, and we still attach, and we pass. So in an idealistic world, he goes into the Jinbei, and then we just bottom deck the Parasparrow or the Brûlée, whatever we're feeling. We're at 4 life. We have a lot of bodies on the board, so he's likely going to want to try to get rid of some board. We know he has an 8-cost Katakuri in hand with one of these 3 cards. So that's a dead card in hand that he's going to need to play soon. He plays the Thunderbolt to out the Boa. That is interesting. That does put him in a lower life situation in exchange for a blocker. I'm wondering if he's going to Katakuri here and try to establish a big body, or if he's going to just start swinging for magic numbers. Those are the two reasonable plays here. But yeah, because if he doesn't start dealing with some of these, he's going to get further and further behind. He's probably thinking here. We probably just let everything die, honestly, if he starts going after life. Or if he starts going after board. We could protect it. I don't think we can, though. I don't think that's the right play. Because he's just going to pile up again and swing again. And same story. He's down to 3 life here. He establishes another Parasparrow. I think we just go here. And then we poke for 5. He lets it die. He grabs himself a cracker. That's going to be an interesting option here. Poke for another 5. I think he just lets this die so you can get rid of the Jinbei for free. Okay. To each their own. If he starts going after life here, it's fine. If he starts going after... if he goes after the Jinbei, we just bottom deck the Brûlée, and that's also fine. I think the optimal play for him here would be to go for the Katakuri, bottom decking the Brûlée so that he can go after the Jinbei without risk. He puts it on top. Weird choice, but okay. I think that's fine. He's probably attacking at the Jinbei. Yep. I will... Oh, he's going 3 at it. Okay, yeah, I'll give it to him. I'll give that one to him. We draw into the boa. We have a play, right? I don't think he has anything. 3. Yeah, nice. We'll just go 7. Nice. That gets us into a... Let's try to keep his hand knowledge minimal since we're playing out of boa. Let's go to that. We'll swing 9. He takes. And we play down the boa. And he disconnects. So, yeah, we had him in a pretty bad situation. He has a blocker, but we have a blocker also. He has 2 swings, but, like, what is he supposed to do here? Like, we have 2 more blockers in hand. We still get to just start stacking our decks, bringing up more pressure. He's really low on hand advantage, and he's down to no life. So, it's a very uphill battle. He could try to take out the Mihawk, but, again, we just really outvalue our opponent here. And the extra ability that we have with just being able to keep our hand relatively high and only use it for when we're like really wanting to use it. Like we took 1 hit the whole game, and that's it. It's not bad. So good game. On to the next. We found ourselves a game against Zoro. As always, we want to go first. This is not the worst hand. We're seeing the Perona, a couple 2Ks, and 3,000 Worlds. If we can get ourselves into... Alright, so it's going to be draw, play, draw, play, draw. So we'll go... our last draw will make Gecko Moria. No, we'll want to play that because we're going to play this. So we'll want to go draw, start placing on top, draw, play, draw, play, draw. And I think that works out because then we get another 2K. We'll have a 2K here. We'll get out our Jinbei right off the bat. Jinbei threatens basically everything they can throw out there. So being able to control that would be nice. And yeah, let's go ahead and slap down 2 Dawn, get her swing off. I'll probably definitely take. The Jinbei is going to be really nice here. He takes, beautiful. We'll just end turn there. If he attacks into the Jinbei, we get to bottom one of these buggies and gain board advantage. If he goes for something else, then we can play around it. I think we just 2K out with this because I think our Gecko Mario comes out next. And he plays... Interesting. This is like a pseudo rush character. Yeah, I think it's just poke for 5. Apply that constant pressure there. He's going to 1K out. Lovely. We'll swing for 7 and get out the Gecko Moria and then add back the Mihawk. So that he does decide to counter out of. So we have 3 2Ks and then we have a Gum Gum Rain as well. So we have 4 really strong counters. He's on a 6 Dawn turn. Basically anything you turn sideways is going to die. I think we're just countering out of everything at this point. So he goes for a 5K swing. We will 2K out. He goes for a 5K swing. We will 2K out. If you waste all of his swings like this, then that's fine. Next turn, we just turn everything sideways. And then he has no board. He goes for 7. We'll go for Gum Gum Rain. He goes for 7 once again into the Gekkomoria. Probably. Yep. We'll let that one die. And now we get the Kuma. I think this is a blind swing here. I don't think we have knowledge of this. Yep. That's dead. Let's go here. There's no reason not to just magic numbers this. And then this. We'll be drawing into Level Up Beam, which is nice. After the Level Up Beam, we don't really have much follow-up. That was a perfect time to swing at that, but we'll just do this. You might have the Luffy. If he does, that'll kind of suck. He does go for the Jet Pistol. But if he has no board, I think we're happy. He drops the Ezo. The Ezo we're not too afraid of. He gets the 5-cost Marco, so that'll be coming out next turn, and we just 3,000 worlds out away. Ideally, we get into something here. Beautiful. That's exactly what we want. Next turn is we'll have 10 Dawn. So we are going to do draw, play, draw here. Draw, play, draw, play, draw. Oh, it's actually going to be draw, draw. Can't draw the turn that we get the... He's going to be popping this turn. So we'll just swing this. So here he's going to be dropping a 5-cost. He'll probably just swing board twice. Then we'll drop the Mihawk on him. The Mihawk will be pretty decent. He has burned one of his jet pistols. He might have more than one. If he does, there's a potential that he could Gordon jet pistol Mihawk, but otherwise Mihawk is going to stick pretty well. The Pacifistas are going to be kind of annoying, having so many Pacifistas back to back. He goes for the Fire Fist. That's lovely for us. He has 6 up. He dropped a lot of cards, actually. We'll take the first hit. Get a Jinbei. That's a good card for us. He goes for the Rush Zoro and swings for 7. We'll just go ahead and level up Beam there. Get ourselves that nice Mihawk. Take this one. So we do have a way of refilling. And I think we do actually just go for this here. So we go something like bottom both of these. Something like that. I think this is fine. Then we are able to do this. He can combo out of that. If he wants to give us 2 cards for this, I am fine with that. That's 1, 2. And then we will proceed to bottom deck it anyway. Putting him in a pretty nasty situation. He's down to 4 in hand now. I'm hoping he plays that 5-cost Marco and then just swings, or the Ezo into a 5-cost Marco. There's a lot of other options here. But in any case, I want him playing that 5-cost Marco. If he plays the Fire Fist here, I'll also be pretty happy. If he Fire Fist, he'll go -1. We know one of these is 5-cost Marco. So in any case, we'll start getting some advantage. He swings at the Teach. I don't care because next turn we have lots of options. He does go for the 5-cost Marco, doesn't get a pop off of it because of the situation here. So we will just go immediately for this. Attach 1 and then swing to life. We know he does have the Fire Fist, so you can out this pretty cheap. But for him to get this, he'll need 2 Otamas. And obviously, we're safe for this turn. He does go for the Fire Fist, discarding a guard point just to get that Fire Fist off. So hopefully it's worth it to him. It's not to me. We get a Perona. That's a good one. And then he goes for another 5-cost Marco. We will just bottom deck that with our additional copy of Mihawk. We'll turn this sideways for 9. I should have swung 6 first. There we go. So even if we take 2 hits here, we're fine. The next turn, we just win with double Mihawk. We have enough counter, I think, plus these 2 cards. He got the Whitebird Pirates, so he gets into the Ezo. That's pretty nice. But I think between the 2 Mihawks, the 4K counter in hand, and the 2 life, I don't think he wins this turn. He could prove me wrong, but I think we're safe for now. And then we have a lot of board presence here to clap back next turn. But really, this is the whole game plan. It's just like, make sure he doesn't have anything that's really threatening on his board. And then establish bodies that are really threatening to him. And then he has to deal with those bodies instead of dealing with our life. And then eventually we just outvalue because we are better with our tempo is better in the late game. He loads up 11 onto Zoro and swings at one of these Mihawks. I think we just go Perona, Boa, Jinbei. That way we can establish this here. That's a pretty good play. Oh gosh, this is so disgusting. Start placing on top. We'll go bottom that. I think we want to just do this. Like that. See if he takes or if he blocks. Another 9. And that should be game. Yep, he had exactly 9 in hand. Good game. GG, GG. And he disconnects. Lovely. But yeah, that's basically the whole game plan here. Make sure they have no board or no meaningful board and continuously outvalue them with just really simple plays that allow us to continue building that tempo. But good games to everybody today. I think that shows off the strength of the deck. We went against 3 of the top 5 decks. These games are much longer than the red decks. I mean, I think the Zoro games were averaging like 7 to 8 minutes, so I was able to fit more. Whitebeard was like averaging 5 to 7 minutes. These were averaging over 10, so I think I'm just going to leave it with these 3 games. But good games, everyone I played today. Had a lot of fun with this deck, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.